Studio Game Report. All right, week number 11. Week 10 in the book, should I say. Week 11 approaching. Kyle Nash with us.
Goodness gracious, Ernest Christian. It's a good
Fast.
thing you're there. On behalf of all people who live in South Florida with you, thanks for saving the goddamn state from complete loss, annihilation. Holy shit. Good gravy. UCF, Jacksonville, Tampa.
So every
wasn't
Florida
there NHL losses as well? Shit, I don't know.
I think
FSU, Miami, fucking Miami lost to Georgia Tech. What the shit, EJ? I don't know.
I think the Dolphins saved it.
Yeah,
the Dolphins saved the Florida teams losing this weekend.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That is what I am thanking you. Yes.
What was it? 0-12 for Florida this weekend?
It's disgusting, is what I. I don't know what else to say.
Really bad, really bad. Anyway, I'll tell you what, not great Bob at all. But I will say this much: we talk about the bad. Or
Wait,
the
Magic one on Sunday. That
without Banchero. It's Banchero, right?
It's Banchero, yes. Yeah. And listen, it was. I get it, but a dub's a dub, and now they got the first winning streak they've had since this 5-game road skid. Man, still undefeated at home. Interestingly,
look, they need to get him back soon. So was it 4 to 6 weeks?
Well, it's they're saying 4 to 6, but man, like the obliques are tricky, dude. They're very essential to movement. So though he may be back, how back he is a question.
Top of the show, I mentioned, one of the things I'm so frustrated about the NBA season is the injuries, man. All these stars. Now, Chet Holmgren's out for 8-10 weeks. Tyrese Maxey's out for a little bit.
I heard about Maxey, right?
Yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting really bad in the league now. All these stars getting hurt. Kevin Durant's hurt for a couple weeks now.
I mean, it's different when it's Durant and Embiid. We all expect it at some point in the season, but some names that aren't associated with injury have come out, like Paolo and all that stuff.
Right.
I just... It is what it is, but the defense of better now than later holds true. I think it was Franz or Mo Wagner, one of the Wagners, made that point actually after the win against New Orleans, the Pelicans, on Friday. But anyways, enough about that. We're here to talk friggin' football.
Yeah, and we talk about bad news, but the Detroit Lions are the good news, and I think that right now, I don't know how you feel about this.
No, how drug induced. Walter White is pipelining so much meth to every bit of football or college, NFL or otherwise, brother. Holy snap. Go ahead.
By the way, you can ask my wife herself. 23-7 halftime score.
I will.
Houston over Detroit. And I told my wife.
For those who are watching the video, I have my phone right here. I can text EJ Christian's wife.
Yes. I told her at halftime, Detroit's winning this game. In what world now do we live in where I say the Lions are down 23-7 at halftime, and I say the Lions come back and win this game? This is crazy. Are you gonna ask her to text her now?
Actually,
in the meantime, while you waste time on my fucking podcast, that being said,
it's done. Go ahead.
Okay, we did not have a show last week on Huddle Up Podcast, so we weren't able to see my power rankings. But
you didn't have a show on Huddle Up Podcast, but you go to the Huddle Up Podcast YouTube channel and see the Student of the Game Midseason Awards featuring me and Mikey the Bernier. So there's that.
However, I had Detroit as number one on my rankings last week. I made a switch,
and rightly so.
Right,
just overtime win. That overtime win, sneaking past Champa Bay there. He puts in. I hate that name,
Champa Bay.
But that should never have been that close a game in my opinion.
For the Chiefs, of course, right? Yeah,
correct. Good. I mean, the Bucs are playing out of their minds. They do look like a playoff team. They're just not getting the right dubs in the right places, man.
Yeah. Are the Lions the best team in football right now?
Best team in football? I mean, the Ravens have entered the chat, wouldn't you say? I will answer by saying it's one of those two teams, right? And the reason why I answer the way I answer is because of the chaos associated with Madden Campbell, right? I feel like the ceiling is higher for the Lions than the Ravens. Like the Lions' best day looks better than the Ravens' best day because I just think they have a more complete roster, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
The line's better. The secondary's been playing better in Detroit, which still feels weird to say to an extent, but I digress. However, when they're bad, the Lions, their floor is lower than the Ravens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no, I made a switch last week, and I mean, spoiler alert, this week you'll see it again. Detroit #1 in the league right now, currently on my rankings.
they should
And
be awarded for bouncing back the way they did, in my opinion.
right, and only that is people say, well, it's the schedule. No, they've played some good teams.
The NFC North is clearly the best division in the NFC.
Right, and they've beaten the Texans, they've beaten the Vikings, they've beaten all the teams you need to beat to make this a conversation. And look, I think right now I would say they are the favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, there's a clear cut favorite now in the NFC now.
Some of us had the Lions making the Super Bowl in August and September.
Yeah, so they're favorites, and that's that.
The favorites now. Hold on, let's clarify.
NFC favorites now.
Okay.
Like if I'm gonna say. If I put the Lions over the Chiefs or the Ravens in the Super Bowl, like I possibly may pick them to win, but it's a 51-49.
But that being said, Mr. 10 Green Tones Down, one of the Lions win also features your Packers in Lambeau.
That's true.
So
yeah,
I'm not talking shit. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah. So, the Chiefs though. And because they're the other team in this equation also too of right. Like top tier. There's a tier 1 for me. It's the Chiefs. It's in any order: Chiefs, Lions, and Ravens. Tier 1 for me. Are the Chiefs lucky, or do they really just great?
The answer is both.
Yeah,
obviously,
that is the right answer.
Right. I mean, this feels different than when Brady and the Patriots got lucky, right? Because there have been really great there have been more really great moments from the Chiefs over the past however many years than there have been lucky ones. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Chiefs weren't ever lucky. That's just an accurate statement. What it was a moment of weakness for a Chiefs team that doesn't have any, right? For those of us that saw the original Top Gun, right? Why did they call him Iceman? It's because he waited for you to make a mistake. And even if you make it right at the end of the fucking game with some of the worst protection in special teams in the NFL, in an NFL game that I've seen in a while. And let's not act like the Chiefs didn't do their part as well. I mean, I mentioned them not making mistakes, but they made mistakes too. Missed field goals, right? Patty Mahomes missed Travis Kelce in the end zone, which is not something you hear about happening very often. But can we please stop talking about the Chiefs and how good or bad they might have been and start throwing a little props for all those out there who were trying to nix Bo as somebody who would work with Sean Payton? This is going to be interesting, EJ Christian.
Right.
Because should the Chiefs win another Super Bowl in 3-peat, they're going to lose names. People are going to start retiring. Travis Michael Kelce. I can argue.
Wait, you think he retires?
Absolutely.
Wow.
He looks like, I mean, has he looked great? First of all, he started to decline last year. Travis has too many off the field allures, even without this isn't a Taylor Swift point, so take it easy, but he has too many. The fact that Jason Kelce has retired, in my opinion, has a bigger impact than anything Taylor Swift has to say about it. I'm not saying she's not a factor. I'm saying Jason Kelce retiring and perhaps showing, how cool not having to deal with the rigmarole and grind of football might be a lure, right?
Yeah.
Then over and above, I feel like Chris Jones, might be on his last legs, at least in KC, right?
How old is Chris Jones now?
It's not about his age, it's about his price tag.
He's on a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, he's already a rental. And now granted, if certain elements depart like I'm talking about, that could free things up. But and listen, people may think I'm nuts to suggest any of this, but the point is, stuff like this is the combination that you have. The Kansas City Chiefs would have to probably change their identity for a third time. Are they going to actually try to keep DeAndre Hopkins in the building? Is he young enough to be kept in the building? Hell, I don't know. But these are all questions that are coming up. Now, I'm also not saying that Andy Reid won't answer these questions. He's done it in the past. Do we have to have the Tyreek Hill conversation again? No, I don't believe we do, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, ranked number one in the NFL top 100 last year, but Patty Mahomes is still winning without him. This is just kind of what the hell Patty Mahomes does. This is what makes him in the GOAT conversation, right? Because what's interesting about the Chiefs, and I've said it time and again, is that he's a that's a defensive squad, okay, through and through. By the way, Chris Jones is 30 years old, relatively young for a line presence. That being
showing his prime, yeah.
I'm not going to say prime, but he could probably still play at a pretty high level. But I don't know that his contract should command what it does, right? Like because his current deal. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't realize it was a 5-year deal.
Oh, you got extension?
Well, that's how they brought him back in the building, right? You know, right. And it says pending free agent extension here. I'm looking on Spot Rack, right? So, you know, 24, his base is 1.2, but it's the signing bonus. That's
no. He did sign that 5-year deal actually in the year.
That's what I told you. Yeah. Like, I mean, his contract extends into 28, but I mean, it's a matter, I think, well, let's put it this way. At the very least, he's going to be around through 25 because, man, dad cap hit. You know, it's, yeah, well, I say 25, maybe even 26 based on what I'm looking at here. There's contract language is the point.
Yeah. But the point is, though, the Chiefs are...
There's going to be people that are moving or looking to...
Of course. They're on the fringes, yes.
Yeah. The Karloftises, you know, people of that ilk. I don't know what Creed Humphrey's contract looks like, but I'm not going to take the time to look that up. But I would imagine the center would need to be taken care of, you know, now that he's this many in and he's been the center for a damn three-peat, you know, those kinds of continuity pieces, you're going to have to pay for them. And rightly so, frankly.
And yet they just squeeze by, but it looks like they're just like the lucky or the good. I mean, I think sometimes I think it's both.
Well, listen, NBA guy, before we talk too much about this, how many teams have there been in the NBA that turned the switch on postseason? Why can't the Chiefs be that team?
And that's what makes me more scarier is the fact that they're 9-0. People are like, well, this team doesn't look like a great team, and they could be easily, you know, under 500 based on some of the games how these games swung, and yet. The scary part is that at any point they can turn on to be the old Chiefs again, like they did last year after the Raiders lost in week 17 or whatever it was, you know, and turn it on, and then next thing you know they win the Super Bowl. You know, so that's kind of the okey doke they do all the time to people.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the Chiefs since Patrick Mahomes II has been the quarterback have hit those slow rolls every now and again.
Yeah.
I mean, we say that, but they're still going to win 12 games. You know, they're still going to get at least one playoff win, unless it's stolen from them by D Ford. You know, God, can you imagine how much that would alter history if Thomas Edward Patrick Beaver Brady were beaten by a first-year starting Patrick Mahomes II?
Yeah, crazy, Jesus right? Christ. For real. Oh, you following the drama in Dallas, man? Oh my God, man! The Cowboys, they sucked. They're going to playoffs, and now everything's falling apart.
I have a 10-year-old daughter that's going on 15 and a wife. I don't need extra drama.
The Dallas Cowboys, man. You know, for me, their issue is it was timing. It was not that it's not.
But okay,
it's not that they paid Dak. It's that they didn't pay Dak last year on a better number for them to have enough money.
How much better would it have been though?
I mean, I'm not saying Dak's a problem. I'm just saying
no. I'm asking you how much better would that number have been? Because I'm saying Dak's a problem.
Oh,
and I don't mean in the talent sense. I don't mean like that. But he's not the quarterback he used to be, and he's showing a pattern of having trouble staying on the field.
In just 1 year, though, like last year, he was literally number 2 in the MVP because MVP list. And all of a sudden, he's sucks now.
I never said who said sucks. Nobody used that word.
No, I'm saying, but I mean, the things that I understood why they paid Dak. What my problem was that
you tell me why they paid Dak, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have.
My issue is
I don't know. Maybe the correct answer was to actually draft a quarterback at some point to groom, other than Riptide Rush or relying on developing Trey Lance? Maybe that should have been the answer.
Or maybe if he knew Dak's going to be a quarterback, just pay him last year when the number's lower.
But how much lower would it have been? I mean, are we
enough to get Derrick Henry in the building? Probably.
Maybe that's a good response.
That's my larger point. They have no running game obviously this year.
Yeah, to at least get a good running back. No, and that's fair. Or maybe not rely on what they have as their offensive line. Because can we be clear? That's the goddamn problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
This same line that's aged alongside of Dakota here is part of the problem, right?
Oh yeah, they're getting older, and on top of that,
the ones that are still there, by the way, they're old.
And everybody's fighting now. Everybody's it's not infighting now. Everybody's talking shit. Micah Parsons included. He had some words to say about his head coach, Mr. One Mike McCarthy. Very. Let's play the audio here and see what he said about Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I haven't heard this
yet. You heard this yet? Okay, let's play
I haven't heard this yet. Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on, let me play it now. Give me 1 second. Right there.
Mike can leave and go wherever he wants, but guys, I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
Woo! Wow.
So first of all, easy there, young buck. Let's not forget that Mike McCarthy has a Super Bowl.
Thank you.
And can we? I don't know what we're talking about. No work by Mike McCarthy. Now if he's playing the statement of, as far as working hard in practice and putting their bodies on the line, that's true. But that's also an ignorant take. That's not the job, right?
I mean, McCarthy's been in the league coaching on this level at least as a coordinator since 1992.
Yeah.
Like what do we do? Like Mike Parsons was born.
Go ahead.
What?
You have to make the point I'm going to go.
Mike Parsons was born 1999.
There you go.
What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? And listen, I like Micah Parsons, man, but that's your criticism's valid. You just you threw the wrong punch. All right, it should have been a body blow.
I think my issue too is why are you bringing this out public? You're read a room. You're part of the biggest franchise arguably in sports. Okay. Any quote from anyone on that team is going to be taken and blown up, okay?
Actually,
what are you doing?
If I may.
Go ahead.
If there is a front office with whom you should negotiate through the media, isn't it Jera and the Dallas Cowboys?
I guess. I'm
not saying I recommend it.
Right.
But I feel like, for example, this is not a play you should make in Minnesota. Even like, let's say it was somebody who was complaining about being frauds at 13-7 and getting eliminated by not the coach of the year that year, right? If a player went off on Minnesota's front office that way publicly, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
No.
Right? So
it's clear, obviously, Mike McCarthy is done in Dallas. Whether it'll happen this week, next week, or January.
It would be more distressing if he said, "This is why we need to get Dion in here." But
more on that later.
We're on that later
because that's been circling the drain a little bit the last couple of days and on sports talk and whatnot.
Talk about that being a rumor, man. Ain't nobody in the damn Dallas franchise started that rumor. The media started that shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But yeah, Micah, you got to be in the room, bro. Like you're supposed to be the leader of this team. You're the best defensive player on the team, and what are you doing? Like, keep indoors.
It's not that I don't like the attempt, but again, it was the execution. To me, that was the problem.
And he said that he was his intent wasn't to do what he did there. But he may have had the wrong words. Yeah, he did say that.
Sneeze right there.
Yeah, no, I know, I heard that. But yeah, you read a room. You're gonna talk about a guy who won a Super Bowl and has been coaching at this level longer before you're born, and you're gonna sit there and talk shit about him. Look. Feel what you feel about Mike McCarthy. I mean, he's not doing a good job this year. Fine, we have this conversation. But come on now, read a room.
Man, that's just a bad take. Anyways,
it's a really bad take. Really bad take. Speaking of coaching, though, is
no.
So I have a take here.
Okay.
on the New York Giants.
Oh, I thought you were going to pick up Dougie P. My bad. Go ahead.
No. Because I think, look, it's Daniel Jones is on borrowed time at this point. They get out this contract after this year, which I'm sure they're going to do that. And depending
what
when
you're
they're going
trying
to
to tell
draft,
me is that Daniel Jones is a fat kid in dodgeball. He is
correct.
out. Okay.
There's obviously the discussion now with them being 2-8 right now, having the first pick in the draft right now as we sit here.
I mean, the only reason why they have the first pick is because of a bye week. That's not
course.
hold, but
Of course, yeah. That being said, Brian Daboll. I mean, look, for the last 3 years of this podcast, he's been a very controversial figure on this podcast because, year one, I went all in on the guy, say he was coach of the year. You disagree with that. I get that.
And I actually used football evidence and all of that.
No one cares what you did, okay? Thank you.
And why do you keep having me back on this show, Chief?
Because I love you. That's why. Because I love you.
Damn right.
But there's a conversation now about, okay, if the Giants are going to clean house with starting the quarterback, that Brian Daboll might be gone with them. I actually disagree with that move. I think Brian Daboll, this is my opinion, Brian Daboll should be allowed to.
You just can't quit
choose
him.
Choose to go.
Daboll with you, bro.
Well, my thing is that number one, this wasn't his quarterback.
Okay.
He didn't pick him. Neither did Joe Shane. This is David Gettleman.
That doesn't fly.
Right.
Is if that were true, Saquon would have stayed in the building. Or let me rephrase. What you're saying is true. But because Saquon was asked to leave the building, essentially, you can't use that defense anymore.
Well, I can see argument for firing Joe Shane for that. Brian Daboll, I'm a little on the fence on that one.
And who knows? Maybe after Daboll is fired, which he will be.
Will he be fired?
I do.
Okay.
And I reserve the right to be wrong on that, but that's just my inclination.
Should he be fired, though?
That's a separate question.
And that's what I'm asking.
I think it's less about the actual performance and using one of your favorite terms, EJ, and more about the optics. Right? I
love that word, optics.
I think it's an element of sending a message to the fans and the franchise that it's a brave new world, and you're doing whatever, you're removing whatever stink you can. And Brian Daboll, fair or not, and it really depends on whose opinion we're talking about here, whether it be yours, mine, and it oppose that kind of situation, right? Fair or not, if I'm in the front office, that is part of my consideration for moving Daboll out, right?
Right. Well, like I said, I stayed my piece about that earlier, about the fact that
I'll say this in your defense. If you're asking me what's more likely, Eberflus gone in Chicago is more likely than Daboll.
That I agree with 100%.
Dougie at this point is more likely than Daboll in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Cincinnati Bengals, 4-6. And yet I still think they make the playoffs. And in fact,
okay, well,
I know I fenced it initially on this take last week.
Yes, you did.
I'm going to reverse now on this and say, fuck you. I'm going 10 toes down that Bengals with the playoffs.
10 orange toes down.
10 orange toes down. I know Mike Evie's getting mad at me for saying that.
Because you are in fact jinxing his team.
Don't give a fuck.
No, you made that quite clear.
Yeah.
But also I am aware of your penchant for the occasional recreational drug use, and I'm assuming that that's involved with this take.
No.
Look
at optics.
As somebody tells me that how much divisional games matter, divisional rivalries matter, and defense matters, the Bengals haven't been doing hot in either category so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, and listen, it's not that I am enjoying the Bengals suffering. I'm not. I am a Joey Bear guy at one point on this podcast. I had brought him up in the conversation, though I did not think it would pass. I brought him up for 3-name status, and we still aren't getting it, and rightly so, But the part that stuck is Joseph Burr has been playing well. That defense is just terrible. By the way, Ms. Christian responds saying, yes, and only I get to call him a tool. Well,
there you go. See, said
my
that. See, there you go.
response
Confirmation from the wife, and she's pretty honest with that shit.
yes, you haven't seen the coffee mug lately.
But why don't you see the Bengals make the playoffs? And my take is more so the environment.
Because they
There's
keep
no one.
the goddamn football games, Christian. Come on, Jaworski, what are we doing here? I just called you two different last names. That's awesome. What are we doing here? They're not going to get in the playoffs because they aren't winning the fucking games.
I can't believe that name's a thing.
You play to win the game.
Here's the thing, though. Look at the screen here, folks. So look, I'm confident that the loser of the AFC North, the other team will make the five seed, Ravens and Steelers. It's clear my Chargers pick, or almost pick, is going to work out at this point now. Maybe it's a 7th seed. The Broncos are 7th seed. Okay? 8 and 9 tied. Colts and Bengals. Bengals are 1 game behind in the wild card.
Here's the problem, EJ. You're putting them in the race and all that. That's very cute. It really is. Who do you feel more confident? If I said to you, fuck the schedule, fuck any of that. Next week, one of these 3 teams is going to win a football game. Who do you think it is? The Broncos, Colts, or Bengals?
So next week, Broncos play next
No. You're violating the premise anyway. Just based on instinct. Hubba. Money. Who the fuck do you trust? Is it the Broncos, Colts, or the Bengals? One of these teams is going to win a football game next week. Who do you put your money on?
Bengals.
Bullshit.
Bengals.
By your own admission, defense, you need defense to win, and they don't have it, and that's why they've been losing football games, sir.
I agree, but I also think that
I agree, but I'm also going to contradict myself because
I'm gonna add this to also, brother, that their offense is good enough to make up for those deficiencies right now.
Apparently not.
Well, they almost beat Baltimore on Thursday.
They almost beat Baltimore. You know what that shit?
And they got screwed in that game. They got screwed in that game for the record. Missed calls up the ass.
Damn. For those, by the way, those who aren't watching things on the Ernest EJ Christian YouTube channel, that's me throwing up an L to the camera every time I say bam, because that's what they're getting. Listen, Joey Burr has played some great football games. They're still fucking losing. They got screwed. Who cares? Still an L. At the end of the day, it's only college football that cares about how you win them. In the NFL, they just count them. They don't ask how it happened.
Here's the thing, though, too. Also, at this point, I have the opinion right now that 8 and 9 in AFC make it you in.
Okay, well, so you're resetting the conversation a little bit. I'm not blaming you for doing that, by the way.
I'm making the argument though.
Right, and I think this path of thinking is your best argument.
Right. So
yeah, you're assuming. No, you're declaring a team with a losing record makes the playoffs, which welcome back to why 7 playoff teams is stupid in each bracket. Nothing we can do about that shit now. It's sailed.
So 9 and 8, based on this theory of the 8 wins getting you in, guarantees a spot in the playoffs at this point now. So
right.
The question remains now: can you find 5 wins on your schedule going forward?
You could find it on the Bengals, and they still keep losing so far. That's the goddamn problem.
Okay, next week, Chargers at Chargers.
Can you guarantee that? I can't.
That is still a toss-up game, though.
Okay,
in my opinion. Okay, toss-up game.
Nobody said it wasn't. I didn't use the word toss-up. Don't
find,
but you can't chalk that up as a win. Agreed?
Let's find 5 wins. Let's find 5 wins.
5 guaranteed wins.
Okay, so I find a guaranteed win in Dallas. I find a guaranteed win against Tennessee. I find a guaranteed win against Cleveland home. Okay.
Which, I mean, I could debate, but this particular year, I think you're right. Yes.
Right. Look at week 17. Denver and Cincinnati. Winner take all, probably.
You mean Denver and Pittsburgh, sir?
No. Look, week 17.
Well, no, you said Denver and Cincinnati.
Well,
no. I'm sorry. I thought you meant the last 2 games. You mean just week 17. I beg
week 17, right? Week 17. Denver and Cincinnati.
That ain't a fucking gimme.
Well, yeah, but I would probably give the edge to Cincinnati. Those 2.
But no, sir.
So no. But if they win that game, they'll not have the tiebreaker as well as the lead.
Let's take a step back. So you're giving me they have 3 guaranteed wins,
right?
in Dallas,
Tennessee,
the Titans,
Cleveland,
and the Browns.
and the Browns, right?
Okay. I don't hate it. Okay. And you said the magic number is 5. They're still too short.
Right.
So you're telling me that they have to split with the Steelers and beat the Broncos.
But here's the argument, though.
Or beat the Chargers.
The team
that ain't easy.
Right, but the team that competing against to get that spot, though, other than Indy, and Indy at this point is up and down, way too up and down, is that the winner of that Week 17 game between Denver and Cincinnati pretty much might have that thing locked up by Week 18.
Okay, so actually that makes it more difficult. You're saying guarantee wins are cute. They have to win the Broncos game.
Well, of course. But only that, that's also who they're fighting against to get that spot.
That's why it is a have to. Okay?
Yeah.
You know what? Must win Week 17.
Oh, duh.
Okay? You say duh, but you're the same dumb motherfucker that tried to tell me Week 1 games are must win. Anyways.
It depends on the optics.
Stop it.
You stop it.
The optics for must win Week 1 honestly, always shit. Period.
And honestly,
story's over.
Okay. They got Steelers twice coming up.
I understand.
I'll split it.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're saying you have 3 guaranteed wins in Dallas, the Titans, and the Browns. If any of those are losses, the game's over. Okay,
yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you have the 3 there. I'll lean them over Denver. A lean, like politics.
I think that's a mistake, but okay.
A lean, and then I'll split with the Steelers. That's 5 wins.
Well, even if they get the 5, they have to have the Broncos game. That's the point. So if they beat the Chargers, split the Steelers, and get these other 3 guarantees, but lose to the Broncos, I think they're still out. Without having looked at Denver's schedule, by the way.
And this is also assuming Denver holds up still.
That's why I said what I said. We haven't looked.
Should we do that now?
It sounds like your argument is hinging on it.
Yeah, let's do it now. Denver Broncos, not Nuggets. Denver Broncos schedule. Here we go. But Denver Broncos are 5-5 now. They probably need 6 wins to secure themselves. So here are their last 6 games. Falcons at home.
And remember, the Broncos are in the current 7th seed.
Correct. So this is why I said 6 games to secure it. 5 to secure it.
No, they need 5 to secure it if they beat Cincy.
4 to play to be frisky.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
Stupid, but
so next week, Falcons at home.
That's a toss-up.
There we go. Raiders on the road.
You think I'm going to pick the Broncos to lose to the Raiders? No, I would count that as a guarantee.
Okay, so that's 1 win. Browns at home.
I'm going to call that a guarantee as well.
Okay, that's 2. Colts at home.
Okay, I know that's an important game, but with the way the Colts have been playing lately, can you not call that a guaranteed Denver win?
Okay, that's 3. Chargers on the road. I'll go to San Diego.
I'll call it a toss-up. I think you're right.
I'll go to San Diego, though.
Okay.
All right, and then, of course, the big game against Cincinnati, of course.
Another toss-up game.
Okay, and then Chiefs to close the year out. But again,
they're not playing starters. They'll have it locked by then.
Yeah, so Denver has the inside track.
So actually, ironically, in terms of their playoff hopes, Denver is cheering for KC to sprint. To sprint immediately past the Ravens beyond repair. They're looking for the Ravens to lock the second seed.
Not just the Ravens.
At that point, or no, excuse me. Let me word it better. They're looking for the Chiefs to lock the top seed in home field,
which means
the Chiefs would sit their people, and they'd be playing Carson Wentz instead of Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. That's suddenly a very winnable football game. And even if they lose to the Bengals, they don't need the tiebreak if they win in Week 18, which I think the Steelers will probably be playing for something.
By the way, ain't just Baltimore anymore. It's also Buffalo, too, this week. Because if Buffalo beats Chiefs this week, the only game off. So I'm just saying. It's something to look at.
Well, wait, Buffalo's not undefeated right now.
They're 8-2. But they play. They're the other team chasing the Chiefs.
Oh, right. But the Chiefs would still be up with only 1 loss. But the Chiefs will be playing. Buffalo's a factor. You're correct. Yes, I'll leave it with that.
Yeah. And obviously we'll know more next week after this week's over when the Bills Chiefs game, of course. But yeah, definitely the AFC wild cards picture definitely is a race between those 2 teams. I know the Colts are in that spot, but I don't trust the Colts to close the deal out. So the Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals. The hell? Are we doing this, Kyle? Are we buying in? Are they in favorites in NFC West right now?
No, there isn't a favorite in the NFC West.
That's some fence sitting shit there by you, and I don't like this.
It's not fence sitting at all. Because, and the reason, listen, and I understand, I understand why you're saying what you're saying about fence sitting.
Right.
Because we don't know what the hell we have. Hubba, money. Can you trust any of these fucking teams right now? Let's say this. I knew if Monday didn't happen, I knew you were going to pull your yearly, how about those Rams conversations, but they just lost to the fucking Dolphins. So you can't do that this week.
you know how this works with me now. You know how this shit works.
Well, and listen, I talk shit on you as if it's a tradition, and that's because it is.
To be fair, though,
part of that is the Rams' fault too. They present the argument.
Although to be fair, though, I pulled that the Rams part 2 weeks ago, though, when they started.
It's different. It's different when you're doing it that early in the season,
right?
Like it's yearly after the midway point, you bring the Rams up, and again, not blaming you for that. You know, they in their defense, the Rams have been mid-tier to tier 1-ish, low two to high 2 in the NFL for some time.
Yeah,
right. Cannot blame you for that, and just they happen to be a good franchise, man. We both have underestimated what Matthew Stafford is. John Matthew Stafford, I should say, is, and that he would last this long after that Super Bowl win. Like, my ass thought for sure he was out. But I mean, like, before you get all hot and bothered about the Cardinals, shall we examine some of their wins, right? Excuse me. The Dolphins with Tua's first week back. The Bears, not precisely impressive with the way they've been playing lately. And the most disappointing team in the NFL, the Jets, which, I mean, you could say the Bengals as well. But
and you're going to say that too also. My one thing, and I agree with you on the teams, they have a bunch of nobodies. But what I will say, though, in their defense, though, this is why I brought this up in the first place. They're at least being those teams the way you're supposed to.
Well, and again, but Kyle, you just said how they do it doesn't matter. Cool. They still have the Vikings on their schedule later. And they still have to play the Niners to decide it all in the final week of play.
I'm with you for the record. Like, if you asked me, gun to my head, who wins the division, I'm still going San Francisco.
It's because they keep missing. NFC teams keep missing the opportunity to take them out.
Yeah. Tampa.
This past weekend, is the best example, right? Moody missed, 3 kicks, and they couldn't finish the fucking job?
Yeah. But I will say the Cardinals are making it harder to make that case against them because of the way they've been winning the last couple of weeks.
I think that's more about the opposition starting to fall apart than
there's a little bit of that too also, but if the Cardinals aren't playing down to the level, because that's the thing. We don't historically trust the Cardinals.
Playing down to the level. If that's your best defense, I can't help you. The reason, again, whole reason, if I'll put it this way, if they win the next 3, Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle, I will reopen this conversation and openly declare the Cardinals the favorite, as they'd be basically in the driver's seat at that point.
One last NFL thing. This week's a prime example why we, not just me, but we never trust the Fraudcons. They're not the Falcons.
Okay. Pump the brakes there.
You're going to defend the Falcons here now?
I'm not defending the Falcons so much as I'm defending the science and art of football, right? Like, and here's the thing. As somebody who preaches to me how much divisional physics matter, especially between those two teams. Every year, if you pick the Saints and Falcons to split, you'd be right. All that game was the Saints being that desperate to catch back up. And let's be clear, Younghoe Koo did his part in declaring that loss.
Yep. 2 field goals, right?
Let's not act like Coco Chains and that group didn't put themselves in position to win. Now, granted, the real answer is get some goddamn touchdowns, duh. Okay, fine.
There you go.
But, like, the Falcons' defense, which isn't remarkable, held the Saints to 20 points. Younghoe Koo did enough. I think it was enough to or missed enough. Did he miss one or two field goals? I can't.
At least two. At least two.
Was it two? Okay, so man, that's a motherfucking football game. So who's fraudulent here? Your analysis. Damn, that's mean.
It's overall narrative too. Also, because like if we're gonna take
3 field goals,
if we're taking them seriously as a contender in the NFC, these are the games you need to win.
but they've won games like this in the past, buddy. Like, and I listen to me. If you're going to play this card, okay, if you're going to play this card, the correct answer. No, actually, you can't do that because they've beaten the Bucks. I thought they beat the Bucks twice. They've swept the Bucks. How little they need this game in the division right now can't be stressed enough. Right? Look at what they are in the division right now. They're 4-1 in the fucking division, and you're calling them the fraud cons. Do better.
Well, you don't want to call them that.
I am originally the one that called
you. You are
the
originator of the fraudcon term in the first place.
I am. Just like I'm the original of quack motherfuckery, and even though I think the Oregon Ducks are frauds, right? But
that later.
Who is it in this pairing, sir, that has the fraud cons winning 11 games?
I think I had the over.
I have them winning 11 games. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem.
I'm me. Oh man!
You didn't hear me pull the Taylor Swift defense there?
Oh no, I did. No, I did hear that. I like that. It's me.
So if they come out like they're at 6. Here are some of the games that will get them to 10. Okay, Raiders, Giants, Panthers. There's one more here that's easy, right? No, okay. I got them to 9 with Raiders, Giants, Panthers. They're at 9 wins. They have to beat some combination of the Commanders, the Vikings, the Chargers, and Broncos. You're telling me they can't go 2-2 in that grouping?
Yeah, you could. Just gotta trust them.
Well, apparently I did in August because I said 11 wins.
This is so weird. Are you trusting the Falcons all of a sudden? This is
knowing
our history with the show.
Who was more confused? Go listen to the goddamn show on the damn Huddle Up Podcast YouTube channel, The Student of the Game. I was openly confused.
No different today.
Probably fair.